All right. Good evening, Nerd Caliber Nation. You are watching Full Fat Spoiler Chat. I am Byron McNeil, aka Byron D0, on multiple facets of the internet. I do a little bit of art on the side. If you'd like to see some of my latest work, you can find it on Instagram under the moniker of BD0Art. That's BDZEROART.
And getting back to the introduction here that I wonderfully screwed up because for some reason OBS wasn't recognizing my microphone. Welcome to Full Fat Spoiler Chat, the show brought to you by us, the folks at Nerd Caliber, and guests, where we talk about some piece of recent entertainment and we look at it in depth. So we spoil the heck out of it. Tonight's show is the movie Mortal Kombat, the recent one. So if you have not seen it, I would suggest, and you don't like spoilers, I would suggest you find something else to watch, or plug your ears for the next roughly 45 minutes to an hour. That might be painful, so
just give us some views, baby.
yeah. Stay on, but just plug your ears. No. Or if you have seen it and you don't mind spoilers, of course, please join us in the chat. Tell us what you think of this movie. Critique our critiques. Agree with us, disagree. We all love it.
Yes, we do.
We do. I'm Rodney Brown, the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, first-person shooter on Facebook as a cosplay photographer, Burley_adopter on Twitter and a couple other places, mostly as a tech journalist. Byron's already given us his introduction, so we are going to go to our other team member, Christina, if you would.
Hi, I'm Christina, also known as Choco. I go by Chocoboba on all forms of media, so you can find me there. I am one of the cosplay interviewers that we have for Nerd Caliber, so you might see me in some of our past videos when cosplays and conventions were more of a thing. But they are coming back, so hopefully you'll see more of me again. Yay!
Yay! Yay!
And I am looking forward to talking about some of my favorite parts of this movie. I won't give anything away yet, but I'm excited.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And our guest for tonight.
Hey,
Eric, introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. Well, like,
all right.
internet-y where you're from.
Of course. It is I, Handsome Bane, compelling protagonist of Isla Power Claim, the toxic boxer, the problematic problem solver, Abel Magwitch of this podcast thing here, and that is a literary reference. I want everybody to go and check that out. Spoiler alert, it's he's a benefactor. So
You're in the right place for it.
It's a great story. Yeah, so yeah, you can find me on at ILA_POW. That's at ILAPOW. It's like a podcast or whatever. And also Hyphenation and Hyphen Podcast Group. We have a whole plethora. We're an entire network of podcasts, whether you want to talk scary stories. We're doing drafts now. We got local Boston politics. We found every niche and then we put it there. Hyphen Podcast Group. So pleasure to be here.
Expanding the empire beyond nerddom. Like to see it. To see it.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome people to the chat already. Bonnie X Plays, welcome to the chat, and thank you very much for the donation. I don't know if we can live up to the expectation of the title Best Dream Ever. We'll do our darndest, though. All right, so Mortal Kombat. What is it? What does it come from? Mortal Kombat is, of course, a classic action fighting game that, like every other popular video game, was attempted to turn into a movie with varying degrees of success. Also became a web series for a little while with also varying degrees of success, maybe a little bit more. And then
a Saturday morning cartoon.
Was Mortal Kombat a Saturday morning cartoon?
It was.
Yes, it was on USA. Look it up.
It was USA.
God.
Defenders of the Realm.
What a completely inappropriate source material for a Saturday morning. Anyway.
Tell me about it.
Hey, we had RoboCop, so.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Two RoboCops.
Actually. 2 RoboCop cartoons, or?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, I'm being shown up here as a fake nerd. Wow. So
they weren't good.
Well,
hey, I like Alpha Commando.
Anyway, so the story basically is that this is just too hot a property to let sit, so they decided to once again reboot Mortal Kombat as a movie, and it hit the streaming services and theaters back in late March, correct? I think it's been more than a month.
So?
Yeah, I think it's been more than a month that it's been
Wow.
out.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And we're here to talk about how well it is as a movie, how well it is as a representation of the franchise, and all of that sort of stuff. So, as we do in most of the shows, we start with, after the introduction there, we start with likes, what you liked, what worked for you, what you think they did well. And we're going to do the round robin starting with that before we get into dislikes and deeper meanings and so on. And we're going to start with Christina. Give us, what'd you like about this? What worked for you? What did they do well? So on.
So I did think it was pretty good. I'm a fan of like the original Mortal Kombat set of movies for sure, but this was very good, I thought. For like a newer movie, the action was amazing. I thought like all the fighting was very, very good. I loved Kano. He stole the film for me.
Yeah.
Like just even before the movie was out and I saw the trailers, I wasn't really paying attention to the trailers. So I was like, oh, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. And then I heard him speak and I was like, what the I won't curse, but I was like, oh my god, like did they take a clip of him
Mhm.
from the game for his for like his voice in the movie because it sounds so much like the game.
Well, the actor's actually Australian.
Yeah, but like it sounded so much like Kano to me, and then I like so that just grabbed my attention, and so then I rewatched the trailer and I was like, oh my god, he looks fantastic too. And
Yeah.
when in the movie, he was fantastic as well. I do have one issue with one thing about him, but I'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But otherwise, he to me stole the show. I'm super excited for it. Since we are doing spoilers, I'm excited to see Cage eventually in the
Well,
second
that's
one.
that's not really a spoiler because he's not in this movie. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what you liked about this movie and not what is implied that might happen in a future movie.
Yeah, the action was fantastic. The story was pretty quick, but it was okay. It's a Mortal Kombat movie. It's got kind of like one main story, so there's not much you could deviate from there. Scorpion and Sub-Zero were fantastic. Their fights were like the best fights of the movie.
Yep.
For sure.
Mhm.
So definitely I mean it's a movie about a fighting game, so they hit the nail on it. They made a good fighting game movie.
Cool. Anything else? Any other specifics?
I think that was it. Pretty much my favorite parts were anything with Scorpion and Sub-Zero and anything with Kano. Those were my favorite parts of the entire movie.
All right.
His jokes were just great.
Yeah.
That they were. Eric, what did you like? What worked for you? What did you think they did well?
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I like how the movie was fine. Okay, I like how it was a-okay, right? Like I went in here with I think about the appropriate level of expectations. I wasn't expecting to be like blown away or think anybody's acting was incredible. So I going into that I knew that there were going to be other people who had like set things up like entirely too high, but that's the nature of entertainment today. But I like that it was fine. I loved anything with Sub-Zero.
Yep.
I like a character who is like what we call we give him the Golden Do-Rag Award, or that's called the Thug Award. So when you just come onto screen and you command that respect of like, okay, I'm here, so the mood has entirely changed. So it was almost a slasher flick whenever he showed up. They were just like, oh yeah, no, the snow falling anytime he was near, and it was just like,
Yep.
anything that is dope has some kind of like ominous harbinger first, where it's just like, because otherwise you don't stand a chance if he can just show up stealthily.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they built up the menace with his appearances really
Yes,
well.
absolutely.
bad enough of an ass where you need a warning. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean that opening scene with him,
Oh yes.
it was fantastic.
Yep. Excellent. Eric, other stuff. What else did you like?
Uh, I think we'll get to it, but as far as that, yeah, those really stuck out. And of course, we talked about Kano already. I did enjoy him. I felt like he hurt his back trying to carry the emotional load of the movie, but it was fine.
All right. You know what? I love that word, fine. I think you're meaning it in the meaning
Fine.
when you take your girlfriend to a new restaurant and you ask her how awesome it is, and she says, it's fine.
It's
Which
fine.
means you know that
It's
it's
fine.
just barely above
It is
awful.
so sufficient.
Yes.
It
It is
Yes,
is so
so
sufficient.
specifically sufficient to
it's
fulfill
good
your Mortal
enough.
Kombat
That's
needs.
it. That's
Uh,
fine. It's good enough.
it's fine. Byron.
Okay. Well, first of all, I should just get my gushing over Kano out of the way because just like I guess everyone here, I'm part of the Kano fan club. I can't remember the actor's
Me
name.
too.
It's Josh something. I'll probably
Lawson.
look it up later.
Lawson.
Oh, Josh Lawson. Yes. When I first heard that the nerdy guy from House of Lies was going to be playing Kano, I'm just like, bullshit. And then I watch it, I'm just like, holy crap, he's the best part of this movie.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, so all the praise to him for that. Uh, I don't know how many people know this, but I am a huge Hiroyuki Sanada fanboy. Like,
Okay.
I will watch anything that man is in. I even in cinematic atrocities like Rush Hour 3,
Yes.
he is still one of the best parts of that movie. The
Last
fights that he has with Jackie Chan.
Last
Like,
Samurai.
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Last Samurai. Rodney, I remember we talked about this a while back. One of my favorite scenes from that movie was when him and Jackie basically traded weapons, which kind of reminded me of the final fight between Vicious and Spike Spiegel and Cowboy Bebop. How in that split
Hmm.
second,
Hmm.
After we
they
had
they,
that
they
conversation, I remember the fight, and you're right, it is awesome.
yes, because and you could like he brings a lot of that same energy from that fight to his his clashing with the actor who plays Baihan and Bihan. Yeah, Bihan. And I hope we see more of him in this franchise because the music.
Bihan
You
is
know,
Joe Taslim.
okay,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yes, I loved I loved his swagger as Bihan because he's kind of just like he comes in with a Lin Kuei into the Shiraryu village and he's just like, "Sup, we're here to kill you."
Right.
So
And
he is a regular on the currently running series Warrior.
Oh, okay.
really,
Yeah,
I'll have
yeah,
to check
yeah,
that
yeah,
out.
yeah. I haven't touched it yet, but I have friends who are really, really putting that over.
Same boat. Same boat.
Mm.
Byron,
Definitely gonna have
others.
um, well, yeah, music, definitely a big fan of that. I love their take on the original theme. I love like all the little Easter eggs to MK lore. They're trying a lot harder to do differently what they did for like say like Mortal Kombat Conquest, where they just kind of just throw darts at a board and hoping the lore sticks. Where they're trying to make it one solid narrative now. So I definitely appreciate that. I like the aesthetics. Like costuming was great. Visuals were across the board were
Hmm.
great. Um, I like that they got actors that really look the part for these roles. Like Rashad Brooks, another one of the actors who stood out for me here in
Yep.
this film. Like he's a true fan through and through. Like he talked about like how wild of an experience this was for him, like in interviews and on Instagram. So
Yeah.
and
Just a sec.
the actress who plays Sonya.
I'm popping up some of the images that I clipped for this to reinforce what you were saying about how good this looks. I mean, the overall
Yes.
aesthetic of it and the lighting, the cinematography of this is surprisingly
Yeah.
good. Now,
Yes. The and the fight choreography was on point too. Like, you didn't have
Hmm.
like I like the fact that they didn't have Kano doing wire fu
Yep.
and trying to like trying to match blows with Liu Kang and all of them. It's like his fighting style fit his personality. It was down, dirty brawler style, and he would do whatever it would take to win a fight. You got that from the introduction of his character, from when he earned the marking from killing the original owner.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with the actress who plays Sonya now. She's drop dead gorgeous.
That she is, and Jessica McNamee.
Okay, definitely gonna have to remember that name.
Just brought her image up again.
Yes. You know, there were definitely strong parts of the film, and I'm sure more of them come to me as we continue talking about it.
All right. Well, see if any of my stuff that I like jogs anything from any of you. So in general, I'll hit yes, Kano, 100%. Absolutely stole the movie. Yes, the fighting, the choreography was fantastic.
Fucking aggro.
100% agree. I particularly liked, like you said, the fights at the beginning and the end. Basically, the Scorpion or pre-Scorpion, pre-Sub-Zero, and then the Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight at the end were fantastic. Between those two. And it was only between those two at the beginning, and at the end when they would cut to Cole basically punching the crap out of some ice. It's like, okay, get back to the real fight. Show us the fight, or get him in the fight.
Right.
But as good as all of that was, the fight at the beginning and the way it was directed and edited, with way fewer super fast edit cuts, which was typical in a lot of the fights further on. Like these people didn't know what they were doing, and everybody cast for this was a martial artist to some degree, with the possible exception of Lawson, who was playing Kano. Why would you need to do that? Why would you need to have, other than you think it's the thing that everybody wants to see? Has the director not seen a John Wick film? You don't cut unless you have to. And they didn't do that in the first fight for the most part. It was way fewer sharp jump cuts. And they let these two, absolute martial arts masters go to town on each other. And, that directing, that editing, I almost think that was done by a different team.
Yeah.
Than ultimately finished out the whole movie. It's so different. Which in my mind makes it absolutely the best fight in a movie that has a lot of pretty good fights. Even if a lot of them are destroyed by those terrible super fast edit cuts.
Yeah, anytime you ground the combat in like reality of some kind, like it's always going to be better than if you throw a bunch of stuff at it.
Like Scorpion before Scorpion, Hanzo grabs a rope and ties it to a kunai, and then starts. That's real. You okay, Eric? Did we lose something, Eric?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
Plug up.
All right.
All right.
Did you knock your lights out or something? Anyway.
No, I had to plug up my laptop. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. We're good.
All right. So yes, fighting's fantastic. Kano absolutely stole the show. So much so, and his lines are so much funnier than anybody else's in the movie.
Facts.
And it's not a matter of delivery, although he is clearly a comic actor. House of Lies, Superstore, so on. That I bet he ad-libbed 50% of his lines or more. That's just too sharply funny and too different from the rest of the stuff. Like that one time when Cole, in this scene where Sonya is explaining how she figured out life, the universe, and everything based on a "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" wall. And he makes some sort of joke about that. I can't remember what the line is, and the reason I can't remember it is the line was terrible. It was like literally the most awful delivery and line at the end of this massive exposition about how important the marks are, and all of this stuff.
They just totally sandbagged it by like coming like, guys, you got to write a little bit better. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's but that's kind of a criticism. But that's it's in getting to how Kano and Josh Lawson's comedy was just so much above everybody else's that I don't think that was scripted. I really, and I said this earlier, I really love the cinematography. I think they nailed the look of this. Even
absolutely.
Even in the other world, other realm, other what's the term? The specific Outworld.
Yeah.
Even in the Outworld, which is pretty much just like this gray wasteland kind of thing, they still made it look believable. Like it was someplace that could actually exist with good cinematography and good lighting. Where's the shot of Melina and the other? That stuff behind them of Melina and guy with hammer and
Reiko.
Yeah, and guy with rat eyes, or whatever the hell that guy's name is. That's a green screen.
Cabal. That's
Cabal. Yep.
Yeah, Cabal.
Cabal was great too.
Cabal was pretty funny. The accent was a little weird.
He was, I think his writing seemed a little different too, because it was just like out of nowhere. It was like, is this Dave Chappelle under this mask? He's just like this
real piece of shit.
Honestly,
Dave Chappelle, that could have been Pete Davidson. I mean, that was such a Staten Island,
I just call
New York.
It Brooklyn Cabal.
Yeah. So those are the things I mostly liked about it. The cast, for the most part, I really liked. I mean, they were up and down in quality of acting, but nobody sucked. And I'm sorry, Christina, but in the early movies, most of them sucked. Other than the ones...
They did.
Oh, yeah, they did horribly. Other than the ones that they got in, like Christopher Lambert and people, or in the later one, James Remar.
Lyndon Ashby was pretty good, though.
Who played who?
Johnny Cage.
Yeah, that's true.
Who played Shang Tsung? That's
Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Yes.
He's a pro.
And he's a pro. And apparently was originally cast for Shang Tsung in this one. And I don't know what happened. Now I really like the actor that they got for Shang Tsung. I like him in everything I've ever seen him in. I love the actor they got for Raiden. Again, I liked him in everything I've seen him in, including he played Hogan in all of the Thor movies.
Really?
Yeah, he was Hogan the Grim. So for the most part, I liked the casting, and there were absolute, pinnacles. Like I can't remember his name, his Japanese name, but Hanzo, Scorpion.
Okinawa?
Yes.
Yep.
And of course Kano. But all of them were at an acceptable level, or even somewhat above. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, as a whole, I'm really in Eric's camp that, this was fine.
Nothing wrong with fine.
It was, it was meh. I'll get into some of the things that I think were problems later on. But
as will I.
What they did right was get people who could fight, film it, beautifully. Cinematography again was spot on. And cast a few people who were really spectacular, but everybody was at least good.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to move on to what didn't you like? What didn't work? What did they fail at? Christina, hit it.
So I'm not like from my previous statement before with the things I like. If anyone was thinking I was like biggest fan of this movie, I am not. There were a lot of issues, and I will happily point them out. So, I did enjoy everyone's design except for Cole.
Oof.
Cole is where most of my problems with the movie are as a
He had
whole.
literal plot
Yeah.
armor.
Literal
But okay,
plot.
Right.
I don't know if any of you saw it, but there's literally a scene when he has his literal plot armor on, like his armor, because apparently his special ability is he can make gold armor only on his chest. There's a scene
Well, it goes down his
where
arms.
and his arms.
They had
But
on his back too.
yeah, speaking of the back, there's a scene where he's like fighting. They show his back, and you literally see the zipper in his outfit. And I was like, really, guys?
Yeah,
Like
one where
it's
he
super
leans in.
obvious, and you
Yeah.
see like the back buckles because it's too loose on him, and you see the
Yeah.
zipper, and I'm like, this is really bad. Come on, guys, like
That's
really,
see,
that's very bad to me.
that's why we have cosplayers on. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, no,
Ye-
I noticed
Yeah.
it like instantly. I was like,
I
I
didn't
caught
notice
that
either.
zipper. It's
No, it looked like a giant beer coat.
yeah, it like
Like,
it looked like it made it look like the armor he was wearing was made out of like EVA foam, the way it buckled
Which it
against him
probably
on his
was.
back. It was
I feel like EVA foam would have looked a lot better than what they used. But
It looked like it looked like they zipped him up in the couch cushion.
yeah, like it was fine
Definitely.
from the front, but like anytime they did like a side or a back, I was like,
it looked like
not
cheap
looking that
plastic to
great.
me.
Yeah, him as him, I don't blame the actor for his role at all for Cole Young, but like they did not write him
No.
well either. He was
Mm-mm.
every scene of his was the most boring scenes of the movie. Any scene he was in,
Yep.
like it just.
I
I really don't think
feel
it's
like
the
he was
actor's
supposed
fault.
to be like our. I feel like he was supposed to be our conduit
Mhm.
into this world of Mortal Kombat. And it's like, guys,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat is so old. We've played this. Like we're already on board.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
and like I still wish they put Cage in it instead of him, but like I get why they didn't in this one because him and Kano in the same movie would have been too much. I think
Mhm.
you would have had them kind of like fighting for that attention because they are very similar characters in that they're both like
Yeah, they are.
they make the jokes and everything. So like I get why they didn't put him in this movie so that Kano could have his scenes, you know? But Cole, I still think like you could have had the story without Cole and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because like they brought in cool things with him, like his whole family, and like they could have done cool things there. They could have even made him become a Scorpion. Like that would have been cool, but they didn't do any
Yes.
of that.
Is okay. Hands up. Who was waiting for the entire movie for that to happen?
Yeah, I called the summoning jutsu though.
I thought that's where they were going. With it.
I'm gonna say I expected the summoning jutsu too, but I heard a really interesting fan theory before the movie came out, where they were trying to say that Cole was actually Kuai Lang, the next one to bear the moniker Sub-Zero, his Bihan's little brother.
Okay. You know, I mean, they set up. That's an interesting theory, but they set up the fact that there are descendants of Hanzo. They literally set it up. It's there, and then the next scene. So there's something in editing that's I can't remember the specific term, but it's called the information cut or something like that, where you have a sharp edit cut from here's a statement, and then we next see somebody. It's like, oh, that's the answer to that question or statement.
Yeah.
And they did that with Cole. It's just
Yeah,
like
they did.
descendant, and yes, he's a descendant, but still, it was anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, there was just a lot of like missed potential with him. I feel like he could have been cool, and again, I don't blame the actor at all for it. He did great in the fighting scenes. Like he literally, like gave it what he could. I completely blame him being boring as a character on the writing.
Yep. Yeah, and isn't
For
there
that-
already a character in the Mortal Kombat canon who uses tonfa?
I believe there is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
Maybe in the
know.
more recent ones.
But yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, so I don't know who this character. Nope, complete new invention. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
And then like
I know Tanya did in like the Dark Age, what I refer to the Dark Age of Mortal Kombat games, the Deception trilogy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
and then like this is more of like on a silly note. Um I loved Jax, but he was ruined to me by memes because all I kept seeing was Steve Hardy from Family Feud.
Ah,
Oh, Steve. Yeah.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Steve
Yeah.
Harvey.
Yeah. People have they have grayed out the arms in the memes. There's a picture of him unironic
I
with
can't
no
unsee
shirt.
it.
There's a picture of Steve Harvey unironically without a shirt,
yep.
and they've grayed
Thank you
out
for
the
reminding me
arms
of
to say
that.
that he looked like that. Yeah.
You're welcome. Because the whole movie
Can't unsee
I
it.
like I tried. I so tried not to unsee it, but I was like, I cannot unsee Steve Harvey the whole entire movie.
Yeah. And
Like-
I mean, the whole idea of, why is there a plot point that he gets, Tyrannosaurus Rex arms until he gets like the power arms?
Which yeah,
What
going
did that
into
do?
that, I also because like I mean obviously he's gonna get the robotic arms because
Yeah.
that's Jax.
Yeah.
But like
I-
the fact that they made that his special power is like, but you gave him the robot
He
arms,
wouldn't have
so
had it.
how is
Yeah.
that his special power?
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
didn't like that.
No
with it. That was-
arcana
I was-
needed for that.
Yeah, right. I was
Ugh.
like his special power is more robotics.
Your power is USB. Turns out.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention, going back to Kano, the one thing I did not like with him was that his arcana was his eye. I wanted
Yeah.
the cybernetic. It made no sense because they were like,
Yeah.
you gave cybernetics to Jax. Why are you giving Kano a magic eye instead of his cybernetic eye?
Well, remember, nobody's giving these people anything. This is supposedly, other than Jax was given the arms,
Yeah,
but obviously his arcana is to turn chicken arms into battle arms. Now,
Take arms.
which, if you're taking that to the full extension, then obviously means that any mechanical thing that he's in contact with, he can transmute into a weapon.
hmm
But anyway,
yeah.
I wouldn't give this. I wouldn't give this movie that kind of
They're
credit.
Well,
not
yeah,
that
no,
smart.
no.
They're not that smart.
no.
But yeah, no, I just wanted the cybernetic Kano eye. I mean, I'm glad he still had like the laser regardless, but
Yes.
I would have preferred it cybernetic. And then my last critique. Oh no, I have one more after. Um, the story, the plot for the movie was told in one scene, and it was like that, and it was told with
Yeah.
Sonya and Cole. She was like, blah, 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 the end. I was like, that's the whole plot in a second of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing right there.
What?
That's her and the "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" scene.
That whole scene. You just if you're confused on the whole movie, just watch that scene and you don't have to watch the rest of the movie. There's the plot right there.
Yep.
You can skip the beginning if you want, but I wouldn't because the beginning had a great scene.
Yeah, that's
That's
the best fight.
part.
And then my other thing is just there was a lot of like editing moments that made zero sense. Like there was just like there was editing moments that made no sense, and then there was just bad editing moments that I don't know if I can't remember them right now, but the one that stood out was the obviously Cole's costume, but there was a few other times and I was like that made no sense. That like I think it was like a cut or something. It was weird. But the biggest cut that I thought was bad was I don't know if you saw it, but you know that fight where everyone's fighting together, like right before we have the hat saw, which was a great scene.
Yep.
Um, When they're all fighting, that was originally shot as one continuous scene. And I saw the scene, the full how it was originally shot. It was amazing. But when you watch the movie, they cut it 20,000 different times. And it's
Yeah.
like, here, let's cut here, instead of showing it like they had a trolley and they had it go through everyone fighting. And it looked so much better that way than having it be cut. And I think you can blame it's WB, right? Was or no? Who did this movie? Is it Warner Bros?
Hold on, looking back here in the IMDb credits, details, company credits, New Line.
Oh, it's New Line. Okay, never mind then.
Mm.
I was gonna say because like I know WB likes to do that with their.
Well, New
movies.
Line
They'll
is a
just-
division of Warner Brothers.
Okay, then there you go. That's
Right.
I think they probably post edited it and messed it up because
Yeah.
it was originally shot as
Yeah.
one scene.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I think one of the things that you were talking about just sort of a general scene where the edits are awful, is essentially the whole fight where Cole gets his armor, the fight with Goro. There are times when
Yeah, that was a mess.
they make cuts from the his family trying to escape to the fight going into a shed to them getting out somehow, and it's just not clear at
It's-
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the movie suffers from, I don't know if you guys have heard this term, but like sexy lamp syndrome, where like if you take a character
Mm.
and replace them with the sexy lamp from Christmas Story, the plot
Oh
would be the same,
yeah.
Yep.
Plot doesn't change. Yeah.
even if they were just a lamp.
Yep.
And that's Cole is a sexy lamp in the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
If
Uh-huh.
you replaced him with an object, it would be the same story. And his family's even more of a sexy lamp.
Yep.
They really had no purpose other than to get him to stand up and move. Like that was like his only
Yeah.
their only purpose.
Well, I mean, even
something to
Sonya
protect.
is
It was-
essentially a sexy lamp, other than the
Mhm.
fact that she has to give that whole exposition dump. But
Yeah.
that could have been done by Raiden or anybody else who actually
I was
knew
waiting
this
for
stuff.
Jax.
Yeah.
Or
I
Jax.
thought Jax would have said it more than her.
Yeah. Raiden doesn't do a whole lot.
Mhm.
Like,
No, he doesn't.
The least he could have done was to have been like a source of information.
Yep.
And he wasn't. He didn't really feel like that either.
Yeah, it was.
No, all he did was like trash.
I have like hopes for Raiden, maybe in like a sequel, but like they didn't really do much with him, and I felt like he had also some wasted potential in this movie
Oh yeah.
because like he looked great. I still miss the white hair personally. I liked the white hair, and I think he would have looked cool with like a white wig on anyway.
Yeah.
But I just felt like he was just there, and I was like, okay, I don't really care about Rated in this movie. Where it's like when I watched the originals, as campy as they are, I enjoy them. I care more about Rated in this movies.
I'll agree with you there. In both, they were more campy, and you like Raiden better.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, on to
Um,
you. What didn't work? What didn't you like, etc.
I don't know if you all have heard of this term because I made it up, but this film kind of suffers from what I call "you got servedism," where it's such a we're the bad guys and we're rough and tough and we're better than you'll ever hope to be, and it's just like you gotta like beat the lessons into people. It was just really like like that part is just it's so unbelievable in this movie that's essentially a child dumping out their toys and just making everything fight. I've just gotten so tired of that trope of like we're the losers and we're gonna learn how to be the winners in one day. It's like the training just doesn't make sense to me as a story.
Trying to
Yeah, it was in you all along, and and I don't like what they did to my boy. Look at what they did to my boy Gore. I mean, it's fine. It's like a gnarly way to go out, but just we didn't get any build up for Goro. Like they saved all of that for Sub-Zero, and it's like, yeah, Sub-Zero's a badass, but hey, oh yeah, I got this guy Goro. He's coming today. Goro's really good at fighting, so it's just like, here's this, here's our half dragon, half human prince who is, he's just here. It's like he really should have been built up like
absolutely.
any monster. He's the only monster. Yeah. Like, he's a monster with 4 arms, and they just kind of
he did look better than the Clay version, or right? Then
he looked
was
good.
it Clay in the original
I
one?
No, it was
animatronic.
And it was animatronics puppet.
Yeah.
Which once I realized it was told it was an animatronics puppet, I kind of look back at it and go, all right, for that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. The CG was good for Goro in this one.
But
though.
yes, the CG worked a lot better. Sorry, Eric.
Yeah.
Continue.
When we got him in the original, it was he had a in wrestling we call it a jobber squash match. He had a couple squash matches and a little montage, to build up this monster, and then we got him, and it's a pretty important fight. Obviously, it's Cole gets his Arcana, he gets his couch suit, and poor Louis Tan, man, he was just working so hard
Yes.
with nothing.
Yep.
Just like we were talking about earlier, with it was really not his fault that Cole Haan just fell kind of flat. He suffers from neoism in the Matrix, but like not nearly as cool. Every line is what, why, what, huh, what are you talking about? It's
My
just
family.
Waiting for him to throw in a whoa.
whoa.
Pretty much.
I know, but I do know kung fu. I know kung fu. Also, sorry Byron, but Sonya she was not doing it for me, character wise. Just I don't know. It was just
That's fair.
she wanted to be there too bad. I don't know. It was just like weird. Where it's just like, what is your obsession? Like, I get it. Save the world. Blah blah.
I just
blah.
thought she was pretty.
Yeah.
No? Yeah,
Sure.
she is that.
Yeah, but it was just I don't know. They could have done better with her, and it just felt like as the actress. I'm sorry, the actor who. It felt like she was on a different level of what everybody else was trying to do. Like she was really taking the character of Sonya like real serious, and like everybody else is just like It's like the other actors were like, yeah, they wrote you poorly. It was just Kano was just like the scenes with Kano were great, but like everybody else, it was like they didn't get her, and so it's just like too many different wavelengths as far as that. But yeah, I think that's enough for now.
Alrighty. Byron, on to you with dislikes and didn't works.
Oh wow. This is gonna be fun. First dislike, the concept of the Arcana. Like I don't know, like just not the concept, the term itself. It just felt forced because it's just like I always was a big like when it comes to like someone who's watched years and years of like fighting game anime. I've always liked when the characters just cultivate the moves on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the Fatal Fury movies, like it was never like some predestined power or anything like that. It was fighters honing their skills to the point when they can manifest these attacks.
Represent.
Yes, all the way. And like dumbing it down to the point of like, oh, it's your innate gift.
It's your
It
quirk.
Yes, yes. It's
But
your
only
quirk.
if you have a dragon tattoo.
And we're gonna teach you. To.
Exactly.
Everyone else, nah, you're quirkless.
Unless
Yeah.
you want to kill somebody with one, and then you're good.
Yeah. And so like that bleeds over into like what happened with Jax and what happened with Kano, where it's just like it takes me out of it. And it just dumbs it down needlessly for me.
So the force, is just mitochondria. So
And you
it's
don't
just
even
that.
need tattoos for that.
Whatever. It's just some mitochondria.
But then you look like you're in a group when you all have matching tattoos.
Facts.
Own
You're all
this,
part of the
own
same
this.
special
The
club.
gang.
The gang.
Yes.
How do you do their gang sign?
I'm going to like repeat the general sentiment about Louis Tan. Like, I think he's a great actor. He was the only good part of season 1 of Iron Fist.
Yes.
And how he was
Oof.
Chang, the drunken fist.
Oof.
Best part, they should have made him
That's
Iron
it.
Fist and given him that personality. But yeah, the man can act. He's very talented. He's more than just a martial artist. But you couldn't tell that from this role as Cole.
Nope.
No, because he was written as the most bland milk toast character I've seen in fiction in a very long time. We're talking Ichigo Kurosaki levels of blandness.
Ouch.
Yes.
That's pretty bad.
Yes. He
So what you're saying? They
again.
sort of bleached all the personality out of him.
Ah,
Damn, you're
got
right.
him.
Ugh, well played.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was just like, why are you here? I'm disappointed at
I don't know.
the fact they felt the need to create a new character when they could, or someone who, anyone who knew how to write a script could have thought, this would be a great opportunity to introduce the other Sub-Zero.
Or
Yeah.
any other way to do the plot
Or
involving
anybody
existing
else, yeah.
characters.
They have
Yes,
they have
like-
such a huge roster.
Exactly, with such deep, interesting backstories, and you just decided to go with this. I would have loved seeing Louis Tan as Kuai Lang, personally. That would have been awesome.
Yep.
But maybe the next movie will have better writing in that sense. I hope so. Ludi Lin as Liu Kang. He's another one. He suffered from the script because he was the only good part of Power Rangers for me as Zack. He showed more personality as creepy trailer park trash Zack Taylor than he ever did as Liu Kang.
Yep.
I think it was because he was trying too hard to lean in on the ethnicity of Liu Kang. Like, he didn't have to fake the accent, in my opinion. It's like, yes, we know you're a Chinese monk, but that doesn't mean you have to do this bad fresh off the boat accent, dude. We get it.
And he leaned a little too hard into the passiveness. I felt too, where it's just like,
oh yeah,
yeah,
they did go a little hard on the whole monk aspect.
Yeah.
I also did not care for the performance of Shang Tsung. He wasn't exactly a sexy lamp himself, but if you took that one scene out where he's sucking the soul from Kung Lao, then it would have been the same deal. It would have just been like, okay, why are you here?
Yeah. I now I think I agree. I like the actor. I don't think he brought nearly enough menace.
Where do we get him
at all?
Where do we get him in Dark Knight? Yeah, guy that Batman goes to China to go make the quick pickup on.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. There you go. So I saw him the entire time. Like, Batman, come clean this up.
That's a good point. Yeah.
His outfit, he looked ridiculous in that outfit too. Like, for me, Shang Tsung, it felt like they were trying to combine MK1 Shang Tsung with Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 Shang Tsung.
So you're getting kind of nitpicky. So
yeah,
let's try to move on to other dislikes. Maybe a little bit higher level.
Okay. The pacing. The pacing as a whole was just kind of like, okay, what's going on here? And I knew that if I hadn't had known about this first year going in, I would have not been able to tell that this was a movie about a martial arts tournament because how things are all over the place. As a whole, the film was a hot mess. It wasn't bad, but it was just so discombobulated for me that
the pacing of You Got Served is better. Now that I think about it,
you're right. It is better.
You Got Served is flat out better than this. I owe You Got Served an apology.
Right. And it's again, I know it's a video game movie. We shouldn't expect great things, but in a generation where we're getting better quality films like Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander and Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog, I never thought I would say those words in the same sentence. There is no excuse for the haphazard job that with the overall narrative of this film.
Yeah, I agree. So my first dislike gets into one of the last points you just made, Byron, about pacing and confusion. That if you didn't know that this was about Mortal Kombat, that you wouldn't know it was a tournament. It's not. There is no tournament in this tournament movie.
No.
It's about people cheating before the tournament.
Yeah.
We don't get the Mortal Kombat tournament literally at all in this movie called Mortal Kombat, which makes this a just about 2-hour long prequel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a setup movie. And you can't.
It was basically Mortal Kombat Conquest, the movie.
It's Survivor Series.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Survivor Series. Literally, it's who gets voted off the
we beat all
island
your guys.
by having their entire head cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
So
Actually, Conquest actually had more tournament fighting in it than this movie.
Yeah, I mean, this has. It's not tournament. I mean, it's got training sequences, but not in the tournament grounds, and it's got fights between the good side and the bad side, the Earth and the Outworld, but not in the tournament grounds. So it just, that was one of my biggest dislikes about the whole thing. My second was what they ultimately did with Cole Young. He is set up to be the reincarnation, the something
special. Even
if he swaps places with in the summoning jutsu and brings Scorpion back, sort of like Marvel's Captain Marvel and Rick Jones, that would have been fine. But to have him not lead to being in some fashion Scorpion, and as everybody's I love Eric's term, he's couch covering man. It was just really unsatisfying. Set up all or build up all of this big setup and then just not pay it off at all.
I really thought like Scorpion was just gonna like possess his body at the end.
Right, because he
Like,
was seeing
I thought
Scorpion.
that would have
I'm
been
like,
cool.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is he gonna be possessed and like suddenly Scorpion's back?
Or if they could have done like one of those cool things where he makes like a bargain with Scorpion. Oh wait, that's Bleach too. That's a little bleachy. That's a little bleachy. But
or
that would have been better.
But even then, or it's Mark Spector, it's Moon Knight and Khonshu. It's there are plenty of examples of that work.
Anything, yeah.
So
there are tons of anime that use that same plot device.
Exactly, and plenty of comic books. So I don't. That was probably my second biggest dislike. Third is how disjointed the editing, as you said, Christina, and in some cases the actual cinematography and directing are, particularly when I'm talking about that first fight scene and like almost everything else, or the editing in the first fight scene and almost everything else. It's really bizarre. And that's pretty much it as far as my big dislikes. I kind of feel bad about dumping on the story structure for a Mortal Kombat movie.
Right.
But, there's Sonya doing her It's Always Sunny thing. That is the lamest, dumbest exposition dump I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of exposition.
And it, how do you get out of it? It's like literally a Monty Python. Well, let's just end the skit by having a reptile attack. Like
I forgot to mention I liked Reptile's CG a lot. I thought he looked cool.
They needed to do more of it or show it better, because it was really good, and I think that would have been way scarier than Goro even.
I do want to add one thing about Goro. Is it just me, or did he look way more animalistic than he should have? Like, I look at him, and then I was recently watching a video on YouTube talking about another Shokan character by the name of Kintaro, who is a Shokan with tiger-like features.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cut off Goro's top knot, they look damn near the same.
Yeah. I don't, you know, okay.
Yeah.
I don't see it as being any more animalistic than his animatronic version, you know, in the previous movies. You know, now that I think about it, I'm picturing some of the images from the cartoon. Now that you brought up the cartoon, and yeah, he's more, you know, gigantic humanoid thing in the cartoon,
And yeah.
but
Yes.
still, you know, that didn't particularly bother me so much. And again, I don't want to get into the nitpicking of like particular designs or so on. Um, you know, some
I
of
do
them,
agree with Eric about how they did him dirty, though.
yeah,
Yeah, we should have, we could have gotten. I mean, as long as the movie was, you might as well build them up, or have maybe some shadowy creature in the background, just slaughtering a couple people, something.
right.
Yeah, this is the
that-
first piece of Mortal
Here
Kombat
comes
media.
Goro, and it's like, dude, wait, what? I wasn't ready for what?
Yeah,
Like,
this is the first piece of Mortal Kombat media involving Goro that has not built him up.
Right. And so, and that's again, okay, we'll do that. That's part of one of the problems is that they spend all of this time explaining the heroes and zero time other than the amazing Sub-Zero, um, building up the bad guys in any way that make them threatening whatsoever. Other than their just physical appearance. It's like, oh, okay, so Melina has dentistry problems.
hey
Okay.
man, if they could have just given her like a mask for like, just have a couple seconds, and then the reveal of, oh crap. I mean, we all know what she looks like underneath, but the I have unhinged now. It's like, but that's not as scary. We all know that anything with
Right.
horror,
Yeah.
any kind of gnarly body horror, is always going to be best when it's hidden until it's
Yep.
time to strike. Like, we know that's happening.
Yeah,
I
I was
do have to
expecting
say, though,
Kano to
oh.
like hit on her and then like
Yes, that would have
Yeah.
get scared by her and be like, oh,
Yeah.
That would have been such a
Okay, so I have to say
wonderful
this.
comedy
That was
scene.
so great.
I gotta say this right now. I'm convinced that all of us together could have written a better script for this movie
Oh yeah,
than what we got.
Yeah, probably true.
For sure. For sure.
Anyway, so those are my basic large scale dislikes, and I'll keep it at that because I don't want to nitpick. Because I would nitpick story stuff, and again, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. So we're gonna go around with recommend or not, and rating if you want to give it a 1 to 10. Christina.
So, I mean, I would recommend it because like there were some good scenes in it, and if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat, it's not like the worst Mortal Kombat movie. Like it's still decently entertaining. Like I watched it with a bunch of friends. I was making jokes the whole time, so I had a lot of
Good
fun.
movie to watch with friends.
Like, so
Same.
I'd probably give it like I'd say a 7. I definitely still love the originals better, but this wasn't that bad.
Teresa Oliveira, welcome to the show. You're right at the end. We're just wrapping up here, which means that you probably missed all the spoilers if you haven't seen Mortal Kombat. So maybe good timing. I don't know. Eric, same question.
Yeah, I recommend it. It is a great movie to watch with friends. If you having a little party, you got a drinking game going on. Sure, go ahead, do it. Every time you see the zipper, take a shot. Finish your beer or whatever. Also, I mean, guys, take it easy. Like it's entertainment. It's fine. It is very very adequate. And for all you first movie lovers, it's great. But the first movie is just Enter the Dragon with Final Cut
Yes.
Pro over it. It's just Enter the Dragon. So be quiet. Goro is Bolo. Cage is Roper. Liu Kang is Bruce. It's fine. It's the same movie.
And that one kid Art, he's Jim Kelly.
Yeah. Well, every black character who gets killed is Jim Kelly. So it's
That's kind of true.
Yeah, it's especially Anyway, if you see it, just watch them back to back, and you'll be like, oh man, how did I miss it? You did miss it. 7.5. I'll give it a C. I'll give it a straight C. 7.
All right.
That'll be fine. C's get degrees.
There you go. He's good degrees. Yeah, that's true. Byron.
I got a lot of different feelings about it, mainly because not so much as a fan of the original movie, although I do enjoy, even though, like Eric said, it is Enter the Dragon with a video game coat of paint. But I am a fan of Mortal Kombat lore. Like I I just gravitated towards it, and it's like the games went on, I just became more and more interested in it. But that's not what we're here for. I'm yeah. I'm gonna say probably a 7 as well, because there are things about it that you can get enjoyment out of. There are some genuinely entertaining moments in it, but as a whole, it's a hot mess. And like, this isn't the kind of movie that I'm gonna rush to buy on Blu-ray. Like, this isn't Detective Pikachu. This isn't Sonic the Hedgehog. It's better than Annihilation, but the bar is set pretty low.
That is true. All right, so for me, I basically I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It is straight up neutral value. There are some very few really amazing fight scenes, particularly the one at the beginning, and mostly the one at the end, if you can ignore Cole. And then in between, there's up and down, some good, some bad. It's ruined by the editing. So yeah, it's a 5. Just, if you want to watch it, to enjoy those fight scenes, watch the beginning fight scene and then turn the sound off and do something while it's playing. And then when the end comes up, watch the end fight scene, and then that'll be cool. Believe me, you will not miss knowing what's going on at all between those 2 points, even if you turn the sound off.
It's a great movie to eat an entire meal with.
Yes, there you go.
This is true.
And as far as a recommendation, if you're feeling it and it's free, then yeah, sure, why not? Don't go out of your way. It's not worth it.
Absolutely.
At the beginning of the week on Monday, we did our No Nerd Caliber, and because we were doing this, our topic was our top 3 favorite martial arts movies or shows. This will never make anything above my top 25 ever.
Just no, absolutely not.
So anyway, that's pretty much it. Before we do our goodbyes, folks, I'm going to give us a little bit of a tease about coming up. Monday is our 3rd episode of Anime Octane. And that is, we're going to be looking at the Netflix series Yasuke. Talking about sort of like what we do here with Full Fat Spoiler Chat. It will be spoilery. It's bingeable because it's Netflix, so the whole thing is up there and ready to be watched. It's only 8 episodes, so
quick watch.
Yeah, it's a quick watch. And then we have Nerd Week Live, of course, on Tuesday. And our next Full Fat Spoiler Chat is, I believe, Castlevania. Does that sound right for you guys? Anybody?
I was just gonna watch that tonight too. I'm
Bueller.
excited to watch it.
Oh, that just came out today.
Yeah, it came out today.
It did. All right, folks. While I'm looking this up, let me see what our next one is going to be. It is, in fact, going to be Castlevania. Castlevania season finale.
Yeah.
Last season. And that's it, folks. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. Thank you very much for being with us. And we're going to get the goodbyes starting again with Christina.
Well, see you guys. I'm Christina, also known as Chocobo Butt. So if you want to follow me, any social media platform, just type in Chocobo Butt and you'll find me. So
that would be the BUTT version, not the however version.
Adorable.
Eric.
I got too much stuff. Just look up hyphen podcast group and at ILA_POW on both Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, I'm just getting off these jokes. Instagram, I'm actually pushing business, talking about the show. So either one, it's fine. It's fine.
Cool. And Byron.
Byron D0, Byron McNeil. I'm a contributing writer. I do a lot of writing on the internet. I also do a lot of drawing. Look me up. BD0art. That's BDZEROART.
Cool. Eric, thank you once again for joining us. Like last time, this is awesome. It's great to have you on.
Well, thank you.
And
glad to be here.
Well, excellent. Thank you. For all of us at Nerd Caliber, everybody stay safe. and enjoy your upcoming weekends. Bye bye.